YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Look at this. It's what we've all been waiting for. A huge timber. And I'm not just saying any timber. This thing is balsa wood, the Turbo Timber 2.0 SWS, the Sport Wood Series. Get a load of that thing. It is gigantic and I love it. And we're gonna fly for you right now. If you guys wanna see all the features, check out our unbox build radio setup. At the very end, we'll show you how we resolved our conflict with the thrust reverse in case you watch other flights as part of our Maiden, and you will see exactly how to set it up. Full flap deployment. Oh yeah, and there's thrust reverse just to prove it. Okay, so stall takeoff. I think that's stall, guys. I think we call that near unlimited. There's our boop, boop, boop. Okay, I shut that off. So guys, if you want it, you better order it now. These things are gonna sell quick. I don't think Horizon thinks they will because they're a little bit pricey, but you know what? Pricey for the right plane has never been a problem for me. Oh, look at that. Amazing clean maneuvering. AS3X and safe. If you guys are flying on safe, you could technically fly this. They call it a skill level 2. Full landing flaps. Watch this thing slow down. I don't even have Crow set up, but with the 8360T that's installed as a bind and fly, you can totally set that up if you want. See the braking, stopping my prop, that's part of the thrust reverse. If you're flying without thrust reverse, you won't worry about that. And you can set the setting to whatever you want. They recommend 7, I have mine set to 2. Listen to the scream, guys. Now, I gotta say, if you love the livery on the 1.5 and the UMX Turbo Timber, you're gonna love the livery on this because it's the same one. Oh, love the sound. I hope you guys can hear that. Let's slow it down for you. Not everybody is gonna be flying and doing crazy maneuvering inside pass. About 3 steps, perfect right there. Watching for our berms, camera crew. We've had not 1, not 2, but a little prop hang for you. But 4 blizzards since we started this thing, or right before we started this thing, let's say. And boy, I love this thing. 5006S is where it's at, guys. I tried on 7000. It was admittedly pretty windy, so I'm probably giving a bad representation for it. But I gotta say, I love the agility. The thing flies different than the foam because it flies like a balsa wood plane. It's so tight and clean. I did have to set an extra 10% expo on the elevator because the throws are so great. And I am flying in my middle setting. The middle setting of my F switch. And you guys will know what I'm talking about if you've watched us for any length of time. And by the way, if you haven't watched us for a length of time, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. You will be aware of what's coming from E-flite, Horizon, and all sorts of other amazing companies that we work with. And I can say this is one of my favorite balsa wood airplanes, and I am out here flying it in single-digit temperatures so that you guys can see it. Now, it is not dead calm today, but it is pretty dang good. It's one of our best days so far, and so you guys are gonna see my excitement in the flight performance. Also, I just wanna say, when it gets really cold, oh man, I just love the way it screams. I love sailplanes that scream, and this thing is no exception. Trying to stay over the shadow of the building, and so you guys can see the beautiful pops of color. Let's go to the bowl for just a quick second. Guys, as you can see, our pond is not done, which is a tragedy, but as you can see, I would have been landing on the finished dam runway. That's where I just flew over. By the way, that's 30% stick input for that roll. 1 minute left on our 5, but it doesn't really matter because this thing will go for easily 10 on 5,000. But you guys use your best judgment and telemetry. Because the sun is behind us right now, you guys get to see the silhouette, but this thing is just gonna be so gorgeous up against the waters of our beautiful pond, and we cannot wait to share it. We were hoping to have it dug, but we basically got wintered out. And we have almost hundreds of feet worth of culvert built. And this turbo timber is gonna be amazing. Complete stall there. You guys wanna see a stall? Let's do one stall before we take a couple of landings here. We're landing the other direction. Camera crew to the center if you could. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring it into the wind here. We're just gliding here. A little bit of tractor. We'll go about 10% throttle here. You guys, I wanna teach you something about this plane. Check this out. Try to keep the foreground if you can. Okay, so 10% power on stall. Riding it up, a little bit of elevator, just dial in elevator. Look at the stall, guys. There it goes. When it breaks away, it's a little bit aggressive. You won't find that in the 1.5. And also, I'm noticing just a little bit of trimming on the rudder would probably help. And truthfully, that's probably because it's been so ungodly windy. I love that look. That I haven't had a chance to actually get the trim exactly perfect. Okay, so let's try this. We'll try a beautiful approach. We'll kind of go like as though we weren't gonna thrust reverse it, and then we may thrust reverse at the last second to avoid consequences. I like that line, but I just don't like where I ended up. We'll take a nice sharp turn, lots of rudder, keep that nose where we want it, and then take off flaps, out of the flaps. Guys, I love flying this plane. It is so much dang fun. And you will love it too. If you've never flown the 1.5 and you want to get your feet wet, but you don't want to put this kind of money into it, just get the 1.5. You'll never regret it. Okay, here we go. Just to show you, that is right there. That's probably 10 feet of pavement plus 2 feet because those cracks are 10 feet apart. That's a 12-foot landing on a 2-meter plane, folks. And it wasn't hard. I'm not like a great pilot. Okay, so check this out. And then even with the spent battery, we're up in the air. And I say spent because it is getting a little bit soggy, a little soggy pantsed. And that's because it's really cold and we have spent most of it. Okay, so I'm just bringing it in nice and gentle. No aggressive maneuvering. Just getting over the berms. And then thrust reverse again, guys. You can see that thrust reverse is gonna buy you real estate on your runway. So if you're flying from a short strip, I mean, this is 37 feet wide. And the only reason I'm not going on top of this is because this berm, it doesn't look like much, but guys, I'm 6 foot tall and I'm just gonna walk up against it. Just so you can see, when you can walk on top of it, that means it's all ice, okay? This is solid. Yeah. Okay, I'm 6 foot tall, and that thing is probably 4.5 to 5 feet tall. And that one over there is probably another 4 feet tall.
We've had the 3rd snowiest week in recorded history where we live.
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea.
Just to give you an idea. And so when we do these early releases, we love being a part of it, but we gotta say, we put it in when the weather is not good. We're not flying in South Carolina.
No.
We're not flying in Georgia. We're not flying in Florida. This is the middle of winter, the middle of blizzard seasons. Literally, we filmed it between blizzards because we love this stuff. And when you see a windsock that looks like that in the middle of a blizzard, by the way, tomorrow is gonna be 30 degrees colder than today.
That's what it was like 2 days ago.
I know. Oh. And then next week, it's gonna be like 65 degrees warmer. So that's why I'm flying this, because we love it so much and we want you guys to get one. I'm telling you right now, big part of the reason why I want to hit these deadlines is because we know you guys want the best crack, the first shot at stuff like this, okay? And I know some of you are thinking, another timber. Trust me, guys, this is the timber you've been waiting for if you don't already have one, okay? I'm not just saying that. I love every Carbon Z I have, probably my favorite planes. The T-28, the Carbon Cub, and then the Cessna 150T. All 3 of my favorite planes, probably. If you have to get in big planes, this is a great place to start. If you're coming back to the hobby and you're like, man, I flew gassers, I had planes that were that big all the time. Trust me, you did not have planes like this when you were flying 20 years ago. I promise you, this thing is so much more agile and crazy than you probably realize.
And the features.
And the features, and we'll help you unlock the features right here on Brian Foltz RC, okay? There's others doing this and they do a great job of what they do. And all I'm gonna say is I don't wanna poo-poo anybody else out on the interwebs. But we do it different because we show you from the box into the air, even if I'm tripping over myself the entire way. Because many of you are gonna do the exact same thing, okay? We wanna teach you that it's okay to not be a genius and do this stuff. We're gonna help you get there from exactly where you are, okay? And we're here to help. That's what we do on Brian Phillips RC. This thing here, I'm helping you right now. Buy it from the links in the video description below. Yes, we'll benefit from it, okay? Just to be totally clear. But trust me, when you get it, you're gonna quickly forget about any benefit we got because you are gonna be like, thank God he talked me into it. And by the way, you may need to remortgage your property or refinance your car.
Or buy your wife some flowers.
One of those, well, I mean, you can do that too, but I'm just saying, it's an expensive plane. But the truth is, it's worth it. And I'm just gonna say this right now. When you buy foamies, and I have hundreds of them, and I love them, they do have a shelf life, okay? They will not last forever, okay? No matter how much you coat them in polyacrylic, okay? This thing, it's made of balsa wood and some sort of a amazing, beautiful coating, and it is big, and it is beautiful, and it flies well, and it does everything you want. And all I'm gonna say is, if you don't get one now, there is a high probability that you're not gonna get one, okay? Now, I'm not like usually a doomsday sayer, but I'm just telling you, I know from experience, and we have done a lot of planes over the years, this thing is gonna sell like hotcakes because people are gonna break out the wallet for what they want. And I know the other people are saying, well, it's the same livery. Fine, get it and paint it. I don't care what you do. All I'm gonna say is this thing is awesome. It flies great, it does everything you want. And yes, I am a sucker for a big quality balsa wood plane. And we have done only a small handful of them, okay? So my basis for comparison is smaller than foamies. But I'm gonna tell you this, I love something that I can put in the shop and it'll still be there in 10 years. And all I gotta do is take a heat gun. If there's a little, you know, like a little wrinkle, and just hit it with the heat gun for 20 minutes, and that model is gonna look like it was brand new. Wipe it off with a wet cloth, brand new, guys. That's why you get balsa wood planes when they come out that you like.
And that's why you get a bind and fly. If you want to get into balsa, but you're not ready for the ARF.
And it is a lot more work, guys. It is. Not a little. And also it's a lot more money. You're probably gonna save like between $300 and $500 if you're buying the exact Spectrum components. But the guys that are getting the ARF are not buying Spectrum components. Right. They're buying way more expensive stuff. Now, is there anything wrong with the Spectrum components? No, digital Metal Gear servos everywhere. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. They're a little bit noisy, I've noticed. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
They'll be able to hear it in the unbox for sure.
You'll hear it in the unbox because we'll be inside. But I'm gonna just tell you this. Only complaints on this plane, a little bit hard to get the canopy pushed in and slid down. That can be adjusted if you really wanted, but that is hardly a complaint. And then secondly, we had to use our programmer to get the thrust reverse on because we had to update the firmware on the SE. Watch the Unbox Build Radio setup. All the way at the end, we review. And then at the end of that, we show exactly what it looks like to get to that. And you will not get that if your firmware is not updated on the actual ESC, which is a 100 amp ESC. It's huge, okay? So beautiful plane. E-flite putting out SWS, which stands for Sport Wood Series. Hint, we're on number 2 of the S, okay? So that's a good problem. That means there's more around the corner. We can't say any more, but I'm just gonna say this. You will be very happy to be watching Brian Phillips RC because that means you're gonna be one of the first to know about the next in the S. So SWS 2.0, amazing, beautiful wooden prop, gorgeous cowl. Exhaust pipes are actually glued in, unlike the 1.5 foamy that I had to fix. And just everything about it is beautiful. The landing gear are a little bit lackluster because they're very basic. I'm gonna warn you, I glued mine on with foam tack or foam to foam. It worked fine. Yes. I suggest instead, I thought of this after we did it, because there's a little bit of flex in there. I'm probably gonna pop one of my wheel fairings off. Take some double-sided, like 3M style tape. Do a couple layers if you got it, or real thick foam, and just stick that in there. See if you can get white. If you can't get white, it'll be hidden. Clean it off really good, stick it on there, and then do that. And then that'll let things flex a little bit more than the foam tack will. Okay, I didn't use CA because the CA is gonna pop off immediately. And if you're really concerned, drill a couple of holes you know, probably a third in and a third in, okay? And then put a small standoff, and then it'll be allowed to flex free of the wood, because that is wood. And that's plywood, I believe, okay? It looks good, it's basic, it gets the job done, but we don't have that cool splaying gear. Here's why I don't mind that. Because I know there's somebody that's gonna come up with some sweet, like 3D printed or whatever landing gear mechanism that we can toss onto this as an aftermarket. It's gonna be awesome. And also, you can do floats on this. Yes, they will match, it's gonna look nice. If you want the floats, get the floats for the Carbon Z Cub, okay? That's the one, or the Carbon Z T20, or Carbon Z, well, I think you can do them on the T28 as well, but they look kind of goofy, 150T. Yeah. So they will fit this. There are adapters in there. You might need to do a little bit of modification on the bottom just to kind of color it in, because I think it's just blank wood that goes in. So other than that, beautiful model. And by the way, if you're doing balsa wood models, you're used to that sort of thing, okay? There's gonna be a little bit more work involved, but this thing, piece count is very low. It's not nothing, okay? It's still gonna take you probably an hour, hour and a half to put this thing together if you take your time like we do. And then the radio setup is not hard. It's actually not bad at all. No. And like we showed, Vario, thrust reverse, it's all in there. You just have to unlock the feature because the firmware that came out of the box was not necessarily right. Now, one other detail, I don't know if this is correct for you or not. We're running a 15.8 prop. There is some grumblings. There might be a 16.6 prop that was supposed to be in the box. If there is, we will do an update as soon as we get one. If yours comes with a 16.6, we don't mean to deceive anybody. We just, like, sometimes we get stuff and it's early and they haven't had a chance to respond at the factory to like glitches and errors. But you can see the thing is fast. I'd like to see it on 16.6 because I think it's gonna slow the plane down. I think this plane is fast right now. It could slow down as far as I'm concerned. Also, the bigger prop might look cooler. And I'm really, really tempted to put a 3-bladed prop on there and just see how it looks, because we have a couple of 3-bladed props from back when we did the T28. So keep your eyes open for that. Also, we're gonna set ours up with Crow. We'll show the entire process. It should be pretty easy and basic on this because we can go into forward programming and reset everything. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned ESC status, which is nice. I love the bar graph. That's one of my favorite things about a bind and fly is that you get that bar graph. And I love that. It's so nice to be able to see the status of the battery. And yes, you can see it when it sags, especially when you're in extra cold weather like we are today, okay? I gotta say, get one while you can get it because I know you're gonna want it. Now, if you don't want this or it's a little bit too much cash for your budget right now, everybody understands that's gonna happen. The 1.5 is a great alternative if you don't wanna spend this kind of money. But I'm gonna tell you, shelf life is not the same. And this is basically double the size plane. And you're like, but it's only like 1/3 more measure. How can it be twice the size? Just trust me, we showed in the unbox. I mean, the plane sits like next to it. It sits under the wing almost. When you go up in size class from a 1.5 to a 2, it's a huge jump. I mean, the wing surface on this is pretty much double. Mm-hmm. So it's amazing. It's a different experience. It's got huge presence in the air, and it is huge. It's also, it's not one of the lightest balsa wood planes I've ever flown, but it feels poppy and light in the air until it stalls. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to show you guys a power on stall, okay? Just be aware. You've got power to get out of trouble, but it will bite. And when these things hit the ground, man, boom, not like foamy. Now, that being said, you can still fix them. You can take that thing apart and rebuild the entire wing, which is incredible. And if your name is Mike.
Right.
So Mike came and flew for us. So amazing plane, beautiful features, everything you want. Get the bind and fly. Don't get the ARF. If you get the ARF, good for you. You got more time on your hands. And that might be totally true for you. If you're retired and just coming back to the hobby because you got time on your hands, get the ARF. Go ahead. But you will have quite a bit more work. And what we showed may not line up exactly with what you get. Now, they will show the features. When you follow the link, just make sure you click the right size class of what you want because our link is going to show the different sizes, okay? Mm-hmm. Yep. Now also, know this. When you buy from the links, it is the #1 best way to support Brian Phillips RC. That keeps us in the air and it keeps us on the air, okay? Patreon, PayPal, YouTube super thanks, YouTube members, they're all greatly appreciated, but they are a small drop in the bucket, guys. What we really want is we want people flying. We want to increase the size and mass of our community of RC enthusiasts. And we want to increase the reach that we have. So if you're just sending us 20 bucks or a Starbucks gift card, that's fine. We really appreciate it. I'm sorry, I'm frozen up here. And we really do appreciate that, guys, from the bottom of our hearts. It's flattering that you guys think we're that important that you need to give us gift cards. It's great. But the thing is, at the end of the day, what we want is we want you guys flying. So I would rather you take that money and just go buy an amazing product that you love, okay? So buy something like this, you support us, then they pay the bill, which is kind of nice too. We win, they win, and you win, okay? We're all about everybody winning on this channel. That's why we don't tear these things apart unless they're dimes, excuse me, because they have torn themselves apart, guys. So, truth is, we love doing this. We love that you're here with us, and we love products like this, and we're gonna keep doing it as long as you guys keep supporting us by buying the stuff from the links. And we wanna just reach out and say, we appreciate you doing it. And so, if you weren't doing it, we wouldn't be doing this. And it would be terrible because I wouldn't be flying in this beautiful morning, okay? So guys, we really appreciate you. Thank you for all the stuff you do for us on this channel. There's so much more coming from Brian Phillips RC. I'm assuming this is probably gonna be our first flight in the video. I'm not sure if we're gonna end up showing the other. We have 4 total flights. This is one of them. Okay, this is pretty good. If it covers all our bases, we may not show the other 2 just because they were darker. But I gotta say the lights did show up nicely. One other point of mention, there is not a white strobe on the edges, okay? Different light kit, a little bit simpler, but very bright, okay? So during the day, you're not gonna need them as much, but it is still nice to know that they exist and you will see them. Front lights are smaller, but very bright still. So I've been very happy with it. I also noticed a little bit more basic flash on the top and bottom light. Again, not a huge factor for me as long as they exist. And very easy to see this plane, okay? So, other than that, I love this plane, and the tires are soft enough to do the job. They're gonna work on or off-road, but not in our conditions because of the snow, okay? Right. So if you're doing grass hops, you'll be totally fine, but just keep in mind there may be something around the corner, so keep your eyes open on Brian Phillips RC, and you're gonna see that right here as soon as it comes available. So anything else I missed? So guys, thanks for being here with us. Thanks for watching these things. We could not do it without your help. And obviously, like this little pond project that we got going, we're gonna keep you appraised of the situation. At some point, we'll probably have a video compilation of all the different details. And we hope you guys will be around to see that, because when that's done, there's other projects like extension of the runway, the helipad, the dam road, which is gonna go across and become the dam runway. And then the hangar over there, it's gonna be a real hangar, okay? And then there's gonna be a real airstrip back there. I mean, we genuinely have plans. We are working the plans for all of this stuff right now. And if it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't be doing half of it, okay? We'd be doing the other half. So thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate you, and you will appreciate this plane. And again, like I said, if you can't handle this, look at the UMX. If you can't handle that, look at the 1.5. If you can't handle that, look at the twin timber. There's tons of amazing choices. And if you don't want any of those, Brian Phillips RC is your one-stop shop. And you can check out what's similar to it. And maybe you hate this thing, but I doubt you will. It's really good. That's all I got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. Guys, smash that like button if you haven't already. It really helps us on YouTube. And if you guys watch a whole video for once, we appreciate you doing that. Stay tuned, so much more from Brian Phillips RC coming. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Yes, it's another timber, but this time huge. 2-meter balsa wood. Awesome. From E-flite, folks. Look at this thing. Lights, LEDs, huge flaps, big wood prop, removable front so you can get to the battery. This thing is loaded. It has all the features you're expecting. 8-channel receiver, the 8360. 8360. And it's an 8360T, so you do get the beep, 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 boop, 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 but I'd even turn it on because I don't care on this plane. And get a load of the size. It's amazing. I apologize for my voice, folks. Just getting over a cold like everybody else in the country has right now. Look at the throws, and then look at this. Also has safe, which is really nice. I also configured mine with an off position because it is a big plane, it may not be needed. So without further ado, one feature I didn't turn on is thrust reverse. We're waiting to hear from the factory some feedback on that. And so I'm gonna just do a little ground handling. Okay, so as you can see, We have some death machines next to our road today. These things are hard to see when you are flying and you have berms that size and a plane this size, even a big plane, it still won't clear. And you may remember, I've hit them before. So we're gonna try not to do that. Okay, takeoff flaps deployed, camera crew's coming over to the left. Here we go, guys. Get a load of this. Oh, she's in the air already.
Wow.
Guys, 30% throttle, folks.
That looks so good.
LEDs are great. Out of the flaps. Holy cow, that thing is rock solid, folks. Rock solid. Oh yeah, wow. That's not even 50% throttle. Oh man, what a joy. It's like everything you remember about the foam timber and then put it on steroids. And this is exactly what you're gonna get.
What size battery do you have in there?
5000 6S, folks. This is a 50C. And yes, I'm in wind. Oh man, that thing is so crazy. Okay, I'm gonna slow it down. Full landing flaps. I don't even have crow set up yet, guys. Look at this thing, super docile in the middle of the sticks. But then if you give her heck, she'll do exactly what you want and exactly how you want. Look at this, guys. Just amazing. I love it. Okay, turn it over. Got a couple of weird wiggles there in the covering because of the wind and the cold. Over the cherry that we were trying to move last week. Hard on the throttle just to arrest my descent. And then over the top of the berm. Oh yes! Full landing flaps on the way down just to arrest my descent rate. So folks, this thing is definitely 3D capable. Oh, and by the way, since it's 2 meters, you can be 7 miles away and still see what you're doing, which is pretty cool. Inside pass if you could. Be safe. Take off flaps now. Oh man, that thing looks so good. By the bull, please. Edge of the driveway by the turnaround. Okay, out of the flaps. If you guys hadn't already noticed, man, that thing looks gorgeous in the snow.
It is.
Take off flaps now. It's a little bit more slippery than what we have on the foamies. Just imagine when there's a dam out there. Guys, this thing is huge and awesome. Reminds me of Carbon Z-Cub, except better because it's balsa. And then look at the roll rate, guys. I don't even have everything set up that I could do because the roll rate is really good. Long, not narrow wings, but very high aspect ratio, so you got tons of lift. You'll notice there are no leading edge slats. I was a little bit bummed about that. Soft tires with a tread pattern milled into them. Just love the way it's flying. Looks amazing next to the snowy trees. Being a little bit tentative around the driveway, runway, because the berms of snow are definitely palpable today. And bringing it back down the runway. Careful, we're with the wind here. So I'm actually gonna do the pass the other way. Camera crew to the center, about 4 feet back from the regular launch. Perfect right there. Okay, so full landing flaps. We're gonna show you the flight envelope here for slow down. Now I gotta admit, in the wind, in the cold, balsa wood plane flies a lot different than foam, but this thing is not hard to fly. And by the way, I'm just gonna show you this right now. I'm gonna bring it out. This is about 30% on the power. We have a 5-minute timer, which is probably way less than we're gonna actually get. And by the way, I do have full telemetry, so I just wanna try and kind of see how it feels like. We do have a crosswind, as you can see it getting pushed. Let's see how this does on a touchdown. Oh, it's gorgeous, gorgeous. It's gonna be super easy. And I just wanna point out one detail. When you're used to flying foamies, they fly different because they're denser. There's actually more going on there, and they're solid. Oh, did you hear the scream? Yeah. Oh, that was so cool. Okay, now, just take off flaps this time. By the way, our flap settings in the manual were so wrong. You need to be careful on yours. I don't know if there was something weird about ours, but it was supposed to be a full production run and not a production sample for quality control. There's a bald eagle, or no, that's not a bald eagle. Totally take it back. Sorry guys, we do have a group of bald eagles that have been flying around here lately, and it's been super exciting. Camera crew, can you show them a view of the battery? We got about 50% on the battery there. Okay, now what I want to show you is we're going to go into safe, okay? Here's safe. Take off flaps now. Definitely reduces greatly the sticks. So guys, look at this. That's full up. That's full down. Full up. Oh yeah, got into a stall. Even with 30% power, there's full down. We're getting pushed with the wind. But the thing is, it's resisting getting tipped over, and then it's a little snappy getting back. Let's see how it does here. I'm gonna bring it into straightaway, right into the wind, and that's not even looking, guys. Now, if you're flying a $900 balsa wood plane and you're flying it in safe, I would be a little bit surprised. But truth is, everybody has their reasons for what they're doing when they're doing it, and I'm not gonna judge based on your scenario, okay? But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna suggest, if you guys are flying a plane of this caliber and you're still in safe, I would highly suggest that you consider getting the 1.5. It's an amazing experience. It's gonna give you everything you expect from an amazing, huge plane. Oh guys, I gotta try to hover this thing. Look how docile it is. It's like so much more docile than what I remember the 1.5 being, and yet it's only just because it's so dang powerful. 100 amp ESC, it's like a 50-55 brushless motor, huge avian brushless motor, and we are not flying in good conditions, folks. We have basically a gap between blizzards we're hitting right here. 30% throttle, look at that thing, just rock solid. Oh, that is awesome, guys. No problem flying, no problem prop hanging this thing. Obviously, I'm not big on 3D. You guys already know that if you've watched much of Brian Phillips RC to the right. Right over the berms. Ooh, a little touchy on the elevator on that control. So maybe we need to go a little bit higher on the expo for the elevator on this plane because you have a lot of it, guys. Just how agile it is. It's so crazy because it is windy out here. Really windy. And this thing is acting like it's like wind resistant because of the AS3X. Now I'm gonna turn off AS3X and it's probably gonna look janky as heck, okay? So this is AS3X off. Okay. Oh man, you can do crazy stuff with this thing. It is gonna be so much fun. Now you may notice I'm a little bit further, a few mistakes high. That is nuts. Okay, back into AS3X. I am probably going to take a landing, guys, just to be on the safe side. I love this plane, I do not wanna lose it, but you guys don't either. And so what you wanna do is you wanna go ahead and check the links in the video description below, ASAP. Get one ordered. You want this plane. We don't often tell you these things because we know everybody has different tastes. Oh yes, so good, but I did push further back. I want you by the edge, please. Okay. By there. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a better approach here, folks. Now, normally with a timber, I would just throw thrust reverse on. And normally I would have a cherry tree moved, but we ran out of days because of this very blizzard set, which sucks, because I really wanted that cherry tree out of the way of the landing strip. There it is, guys. There it is, there it is. Whoa, whoa, oh yeah! So good! I love it, guys. No voice, and it still got me yelling for you. This is so much fun. Awesome timber. I did stroke the Mother Nature for you, and there was no damage, because when you have a plane that's this good, it just skims along the snow and does not destroy itself. Okay, maybe it would, but still, I gotta say, this thing does not leave anything on the table, except for thrust reverse. I do not know why it's not in the menu, so let's talk about that real quick. Okay, obviously we have power to spare, but it's cold and batteries do not always perform as good. Vario, as you can see, and that's the last thing, okay? What does that tell me? That tells me if you buy the floats for the Carbon Z Cub, or the Carbon Z Cessna 150T, or whatever the Carbon Z is you're doing. I think you can put them on the T28 as well. Same floats for this, and yes, they will match the livery nicely, even though they're foam. It doesn't matter, guys. They use foam in real floats, okay? So give them a break. The truth is you could also build balsa floats if you wanted, but I don't know why you would do that. These floats are pretty big and they're easy to use. And when we get our pond done, we'll definitely be doing planes just like this. So guys, without further ado, it's cold, it's tediously terrible. I want you to see the size of these. This is 2 snows. Look at this. That's knee high. No, that's been pushed off the driveway still. Yeah. But I'm talking, this is thick, This is heavy. This is packed snow. It's the kind where you push it with the tractor and the whole dang driveway goes down the street. So it's not the type of snow you want to land on and crash, because it will plow your plane.
Yeah.
Because they're going to bite those wheels as soon as they touch, and it's going to be in the ground. Also, this thing is huge. It is about 1.5 times as big as the 1.5 meter. And you're like, but Brian, 2 meters compared to 1 meter, that's not 1.5 times as big. But guys, you're missing the point. The wing is like twice as big. It's crazy. We lay it out in the Unbox Build Radio setup, which if you want to see, it should have published just a few minutes ago. So check it out right now. We'll show you exactly how we set it up on our NX10. The only thing I didn't mention, which I want to show, is if you want audio vents for your Vario, all you have to do is go down to telemetry, go to Vario, and then you can set it to a switch. So I usually like to have it on these two. And then you would change your range to whatever size you want. Now I like to really exaggerate my boop, 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 beep, 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 because I want you to be able to hear it. So now I'll walk out, okay? So the Vario should be beeping now. Throttle hold is on and tested. Be careful, this is a huge prop. Okay, listen. Oh, just got our warning. Okay, here we go. So you see it's not doing anything? That's because when you turn on the telemetry to a switch, it's not the same as an audio vent, okay? There we go. There we go. So I have to be in switch condition 1 or 2, which is the center or the bottom of switch C is where I set it up. So we're gonna show you what it sounds like, if you haven't ever heard. Okay, so on the way up, it's high pitched. On the way down, it's low pitched. And then you can just shut it right off. That's what we always do. We just did it the other day on a sailplane. I don't know if you guys have seen the video yet.
They will have.
They will have by the time you see this. But also, if you look inside of here, this canopy comes right off, okay? But it does get pinched a little bit by the wing, okay? See how it's pinched a little bit? But look at that. Beautiful. And then see, we've got an 8360T down there, which means you can put full crow, but the flaps are hinged down only. So you can do crow, you can do a full length aileron, but you have to be careful to set up your differential. You have to do a minus differential on this control axis. Otherwise it won't work. So what that means is you're gonna have a wonky behavior. I would not do it, because you can only run those things down unless you pull out the stock hinges and redo them as straight hinges. I would not do that either. This thing has tons of flap. It's got tons of roll rate. I don't think you need it, but crow would be really cool, okay? Now also show them up here from this angle. You see this opening, guys? You can put a 7000 6S in here, no problem. The CG will work out just fine. It has a range that is 24 millimeters wide. It's huge, okay? Again, we'll go over it. It's not quite as noisy as the Carbon Z Cub, but it still does have the digital servos that like to chime and sing songs to you while you're flying. And also FPV, tracking, whatever you're thinking about. This plastic is maybe not great to see through and it's tinted. So you just need to keep that in mind. It does have a full glass canopy, but if you're thinking about doing an FPV application, you might want to think twice about that or consider doing something different on your glass, okay? So this is my biggest complaint on the plane, and it's minor. The complaint has to do with the way the canopy goes back on. You have to press here a little teeny bit and here a little teeny bit to get that to slip down, okay? That's the only complaint I have on this plane, beyond the fact that the thrust reverse was not activated in the menu. As you know, not that big a deal. Get the programmer out, plug it in, set it up to a spare channel, and you're ready to rock and roll. If I put this on floats, I will 100% be doing thrust reverse. But really, with as long as it likes to roll out, even with a little bit of a headwind, I'm probably gonna wanna see what it does. But after we talk to the factory, we'll make sure we have blessing to do that, because there might be a reason they won't have it in the menu structure. It may have also just been a gaffe, I don't know. But let's just call it this. Amazing plane, amazing build quality, really good looking, beautiful plane. It's just all the things you want from a balsa wood plane, and it comes in bind and fly, which is crazy. The build probably take you about an hour, hour and a half if you're not rushing. And to be honest, you know, it might take us 3 hours, but we're filming and blabbing a lot. So at the end of the day, E-flite, making bind and fly wood planes is awesome. This is the Turbo Timber SWS, which is the second in the Sport Wood Series, SWS. So if you guys want to let your brains think on that and elaborate on what that could mean. So because it's a series, what does that tell you, camera crew?
Usually more than one thing in
Yes, so this is the second one in the series. The first was the Slow Ultra Stick 1.1 meter, which had the red wings and the clear bottom. Really beautiful plane, simple, but awesome, okay? This thing is huge. Okay, and by the way, we do show side-by-side comparison with the 1.5 in our table when we're doing our unbox. So if you're curious about the size comparisons, and I can tell you this right now, this plane is gonna be a new favorite for me. I definitely think it needs to be a little bit tamed from the stock controls for the way I fly, because I do more general aviation type flying than I do. So I'll probably go up a little bit on my expo, and I would like to elaborate more and I would like to fly more, but it is really cold and bad conditions and I gotta get going. So guys, this was awesome. Thanks to E-flite for making another amazing plane. Guys, all these manufacturers that do this, give them a pat on the back. There's a lot easier ways to make a buck than making RC planes. So don't forget, when you're thinking about buying something and you got money for a snowmobile or you know, like a boat for your family or a trip or a vacation, just forget all that crap and buy some RC stuff right here, right now from the links in the video description below. We love doing this stuff, and we wouldn't be able to do it without these amazing manufacturers making amazing products. And guys, we really do like them. Here's the thing. There's a lot you could pick apart about a lot of different planes. This leaves the list very short because it's got all the stuff we've been asking for years, and there's probably a little bit of room for improvement on small details, which I can't speak about, and there will be solutions for those soon. So all I'm gonna say is, awesome plane, good job E-flite. If you buy it, you won't regret it. Now, NX8 will do this fine, but we have the NX10 set up here. The 10 is gonna be nice if you set up Crow, because you're gonna have additional channels for gains and things like that. But I am not setting up master gains because this is bind and fly, we don't have to do that. However, I did set up an off setting, okay? Then safe, okay? So we'll show you how to do all that stuff if you'd like. And yes, in Forward program, there is a master reset. So you can do all the stuff you want without having to hook up to the stupid programmer, which is a pain in the butt, takes twice as long as everything else. So you saw it first here on Brian Phillips RC, or at least I hope you did. And if you didn't, smash the bell for notifications when you subscribe, and then you will get notified of new content from Brian Phillips RC. We're really glad to have you here with us. We love doing this stuff in the middle of winter. It's our favorite time to do it.
Yes, totally.
And we know you guys are all out at the flying field plowing minutes before you fly. But we really do love, and we're taking one for the team on this one. But I'm gonna tell you something. As soon as it warms up, it's gonna be the envy of the group. I'm gonna just say that, because this thing is awesome. And to be honest with you, the conditions are not as terrible as I would like them to be, because here in a couple hours, there's gonna be a blizzard. So yeah. Speaking of, I gotta go. But guys, you're awesome. Thanks for being an awesome audience. E-flite, good job. Great work with this model. I can't wait to see the next timber. I know you guys are gonna hear that, but we love timbers. Here's the thing, guys. I'm not gonna bust our balls for making a plane we like, okay? Right. But what I would like to see is more big ones. You know we like them here on Brian Phillips RC. All right, that's all you get for today. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. If you wanna help support us in other ways, besides from buying this, when you follow the link, you also see the 1.5 meter and the Ultra Micro. Lots of different choices. Oh, the twin timber as well, which is super fun. Sport aircraft, very different. But this one here, oh man, it's awesome. If you want one, you better order it, because I'm gonna just tell you this. I don't think they're thinking they're gonna sell out, but I think they're gonna sell out. So you guys better order quick. And by the way, you only be waiting for like a couple weeks, I believe, on this one.
Yeah, it'll be
so don't hold us to it. We almost never talk about price. We almost never talk about delivery times, because it's totally out of our control. But the thing is, on this one, it's expensive, but the bind and fly is way cheaper than, like, just do the math and add up the digital servos or something similar. Yep. And there's a lot of people are gonna use a lot more expensive stuff than the Spectrum uses. But the truth is, the Spectrum stuff is great. It's gonna be plenty ample for what you wanna do. But if you use some off-brand, you're gonna have to maybe move holes around a little bit. You're gonna have to maybe poke new holes and reline them with CA. It's gonna be a little bit of effort. So just be prepared for the effort if you do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying you shouldn't use your Jetty transmitter or whatever crazy thing you've got going on. But the truth is, I love the way the NX10 worked on this. There's absolutely no lackings on this application, with the exception of thrust reverse. And that's not really the NX10's fault, and it's certainly not the NX11's fault. It's just the way they configured it. And there might be some technical reason why they don't want us to use the thrust reverse. If we get an answer, we'll pin it in the comments down below so that you guys don't have to wonder what it is. But otherwise, if you guys have questions, comments, leave them down below. We'll do our best to get back to you. And like I said, other ways to support us, Patreon, which would be a monthly support, and you can get access to us for comments, but we don't list that as a defined benefit. Otherwise, we just have to charge that for people overseas, which is ridiculous. So anyway, but just know that it happens. We also have PayPal for one-time donations if you want to throw us a buck or two. And then we have YouTube Super Thanks and YouTube members. We appreciate you guys being members on Patreon or membership on YouTube. But just so you guys know how this breaks down, the highest fee structure is through YouTube. I don't know if you guys care. We certainly, it's not gonna hurt our feelings either way. Whatever's easy for you, whatever works for your budget, but we don't care about that. We want you to be buying planes anyway. So if you guys have an opportunity between sending Brian 50 bucks and spending 50 bucks on a plane, spend 50 bucks on a plane, guys. I want you flying, okay? But it is nice to go to Starbucks. I'm just kidding. Somebody sent us a gift card. And it's not, wow, coffee for Brian. Strange. I know, it's unbelievable.
You don't need more caffeine.
This is without coffee. So anyway, guys, the camera crew thanks you for the Starbucks. All right. Anyway, I apologize for the bad voice. I'll get it back maybe someday.
Hopefully.
But for now, awesome flight, awesome plane. Can't wait to really break it in when it's nice out. It's going to be a blast, and it's already been a blast. Grasshops are going to be totally fine on this plane. No problem at all. But as you can see, we don't have room for grasshops.
Yeah.
Also, STOL takeoffs, going to be no problem. I mean, I was off in 30 feet, and I was at 15% throttle.
Yeah.
So guys, awesome plane.
Super cool.
Get one now. Don't wait. You may not get it. Buy it from the links. Help support us. Thanks, guys. Come back for more. Hey, YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. This is a Timber 2 meter. It's amazing. Can't wait to fly it for you. Right now, we're going to get set and come right back. All right, 7000 6S. This is a 30C. Throttle cuts off. Yes, we do have thrust reverse if you want it, and we'll show you how to set it up. Here we go. No problem getting off. What a beauty. And those LEDs are really helpful. Now, I gotta say, you're gonna get a lot of flight time out of the 5000 6S. Is probably where I would put it if I was picking, but I wanted to show you how I could do it. That's 50% throttle there, guys. Hard in the throttle. Beautiful. Got lots of wind tonight. Looked really docile until I did that, right? Do you hear it howling? It's so cool sounding. Beautiful pink skies. Okay, let's see how this thing does on a final. A little bit of slip, about 15%, 30% throttle. Got to get it over my snow berms. AS3X and safe, equipped with the 8360T. And look at that roll rate, guys. I was a 75% stick input there. I did set my elevator to about 20% expo, which is unusual for me to do. And I gotta say, this thing is just to die for. It's beautiful, it's big. It does all the things that you wanted it to do because it's a Timber. We've got all the LEDs, except for the strobes on the wingtip that we had on the 1.5, but really well done. Okay, full landing flaps here. We're gonna slow it down here and see if we can do a nice straight approach. Oh yeah, slowing it down, getting over the top of the berms. You guys can see those berms are huge. We have just been inundated with blizzards ever since we started this whole endeavor. We even unboxed between blizzards. So if you guys are brand new to Brian Phillips RC, we unbox them, we build them, and we radio set up these planes so you can follow along. If you need a little bit of help, we will help you with the whole process up to and including thrust reverse, full landing flaps. Watch this thing slow down. We're gonna go dance with the windsock. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. By the way, I gotta say, this thing has power to spare. I don't know if you guys noticed. Just take off and go, and we're gonna shoot the moon. You ready? I'm gonna shoot the moon. It's gonna be up over your head.
No, you crashed into the moon.
Oh, dang it, sorry. Sorry, moon dwellers. I love the scream. It sounds so cool. Okay, so up and over. You do an inside pass about 10 steps back. Good job. We're gonna do that again. Oh man, look at that thing getting whipped by the wind. Now, gotta say, if you're running a 7000 6S, you're probably gonna end up favoring a little bit nose heavy. And so you might need to adjust your settings a little bit. Okay. You good? Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. Oh yeah. I just did not want to hit that berm. That berm is so tall over there. I tried to snake it in the front yard, guys, so that I didn't have to worry about it. But there was only worry left for Brian Phillips RC. Guys, it's been so cold. It's been so terrible. We're like 4 blizzards deep, guys. I don't know about you, but we've been inundated. About 2 steps back if you can. And then thrust reverse, put her down right where you want. And there's no problem with that, guys. Let's just go ahead and back this thing up to where we're sitting. Let's do a stole takeoff for you, okay? Short field, takeoff. Oh, except you usually want to go forward thrust for that. Oh, guys, I executed that so terribly, but it just demonstrates the amazing power that this plane has. I'm gonna try a stall turn here. I tell you what, on the 5000, I like the way it performed a little bit better. So if you guys are picking between 5 and 7,000, I would go ahead and go with the 5,000 on this bird. But I just love the howl. And balsa wood models, they do howl. They tend to howl like that. Okay, full landing flaps on the way out of that turn. You guys may notice that my brain is starting to freeze, and so I may say things that I don't mean.
Starting to?
So guys, if you want to help support Brian Phillips RC and all our RC endeavors, all you have to do is look no further than the video description. You can buy one of these planes for yourself right there. We're gonna bring this thing down. This is the coldest we filmed in 2024. And it's pretty early in the year, so I guess there's more to come. Okay, staying in the throttle, staying in the throttle. There it is, guys. Guys, thrust reverse is a lifesaver when you have snow berms that are this deep. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me just show you this real quick. You stay there. This is a plane, 2 meters of beautiful plane. This is the snow berm, okay? I'm standing on top of it, okay? That's not soft snow. No. I'm a big guy, okay? In case you were wondering, and it hurts to stand out here. But we love you guys, so we're gonna film for you anyway. Takeoff flaps deployed.
Oh, more?
Yes, there is more. We're gonna draw this one out. Beautiful. Now, is this plane 3D? I think it's more 3D than most. But is it a 3D plane? I don't know. It's capable. But I would definitely do it on a smaller pack. Okay, so here we go. We're coming in for one more landing. Mostly because I'm having trouble feeling my fingers all of a sudden. Reached out and touched something. So guys, I want to fly this thing so much more. And by the way, I'm just going to show you real quick my telemetry. Look at this. We got 50% or better of battery life, and I can tell you this right now. It hurts. The fingers are freezing, even with the gloves on. That plane is awesome, and I want to keep flying, but I can't keep flying because the camera crew is going to fire me. But guys, check this out. Get one. They're going to sell fast. I know you want one. We got another flight coming for you on 5,000, and we hope you guys will enjoy it. If you want to see the unboxed build and radio setup, should be published right now. Check it out and leave your comments and questions down below. If you want to help support us in other ways, but you don't want this plane, we have YouTube Super Thanks, YouTube members, Patreon, and PayPal, all of which are much appreciated. But really, we still think by far the best way to support Brian Phillips RC is watch the videos, smash the like button, which you can do for free right now, and buy these amazing planes when you want one, because that's how you win. We win, and the manufacturers that we work with win. And all I've got to say is that thing is awesome. I've been waiting my whole life for this plane, and I have it now, which is amazing. 2 meters of pure delight. The 1.5 is pretty dang good if you are just getting back into the hobby. But if you want to get into something balsa, this thing is going to do it. And I gotta say, the thing is so well built and absolutely gorgeous. This is the type of plane where you're gonna walk up to it and say, I can't believe that's balsa wood. I can't believe that's a model. It just looks the part and it does everything it does really well. However, I would definitely say this, keep your eyes out. This thing is gonna look even better when it's flying from the pond on floats. So we'll talk more about that in great detail here on Brian Phillips RC, because we know you guys are gonna be back for more. And when you subscribe, don't forget to click the bell for notifications so you can know when brand new items like this are releasing, and they're releasing all the time. So guys, thanks so much for being part of our lives. Thanks for watching our videos. We really couldn't do it without you. So stay tuned, there's so much more coming from Brian Phillips RC.